It's Mopar Keith here, and we are at the 2025 Music City Mopar Show in Lebanon, Tennessee, just outside of Nashville. And Chet's been bugging me for a while to bring my car down here, or a customer car down here, and we finally made it. And I've been following you and your car around, and it's such a great car, and
Thanks, Keith.
it's a good story. It's not like you grew up with the car or anything, but it's a really good story on the restoration and what you've done with the car and the quality of it. And I thought I would just, ask you a couple questions about it,
Sure.
how you found it, and the restoration process. And we know it's a real special car in the world of Trans Am cars. It's a red AAR rubber bumper, 4-speed car. But so you were growing up, and your dad had a Hemi Cuda.
Yes.
Is that right? So your dad had a Hemi Cuda. So about how old were you then?
I was about 11 or 12.
11 or 12. So
Yeah. He had a whole yard full of Mopars and cars he would buy, trade in, and the cars that I really aspired to was the Cudas. He had a 71 383 car, billboard car, and it wasn't until I was 13 or 14 we were at a swap meet in Dallas, Texas, and I was behind it. He was selling some parts, and I was just meandering through all the parts in the back, and there was a Cuda sitting back there that had them stripes on it, and I just fell in love with it. And at that age, and so I went and got him because I'd never seen one before, and then brought him over there, and he told me, yeah, that was one of the AAR Cudas that they made, and I'd never seen one. And from that point on, I just always wanted one.
Right.
Always wanted one.
Right. In my neck of the woods, Cudas, it was all Chevys and Fords, so Cudas were just like some weird car that no one's ever seen.
Exactly.
And they're just, I know it seems like there might be a lot of them out in the world today, but
Yeah.
when I was growing up, they just weren't around.
The only ones other than that one that I ever seen were the two that he owned.
Yeah.
They were just rare.
Right.
I'm thinking, man, why didn't my first car was a Trans Am. Why didn't I look for one of those when I was 17,
Sure.
But, years passed. I helped him in the shop growing up. He has a restoration shop and doing custom paint and body work and restoring cars. And, I was always hanging around there and always sanding on this, sanding on that, and learning, what to do. And
So you actually had to work for your dad,
Yeah.
or you were actually working there, working?
Yeah, after school, and hanging out on weekends, but he was all about them. He was going to shows and carrying his cars to shows and going to swap meets, and we just always went as a family trip.
And this was in Arkansas?
Yeah, it was in Arkansas.
Okay.
And it wasn't until later on, I was 24 or 25, and I was in and out of jobs. And I remember the last car I ever worked on for him was a 55 Chevrolet, and I was cutting and buffing it, and it was that first urethane that came out, and it was tough to sand,
Color sanding, yeah.
Yeah, color sanding. And after that, I told him, I'm out. I don't want any more of this. And
Right.
moved to Tennessee when I was 30 and went on to other careers. And then one day I was in a small town here in Tennessee, and I saw an AAR, and it just brought back all these memories. And the girls were getting out of college, and I talked to Tracy, hey, I'd really like to try to find one of these. And she said, well, yeah, go for it. We just had a little 2-car garage.
Sure.
And I said, but I want to have this, air compressor, tools. I got a little toolbox, Tracy.
Right, when you go to restore a car, no one thinks about all the tools that you need to go along with that.
Especially 30 years later,
Right.
Because things have changed, and so he said, well, if you find one, and a friend of mine told me he saw one on Craigslist, and this was in 2012. And so he sent me the link, and
You made the phone call?
made the phone call and called him, and he said, yeah, we were talking about it, and you got to imagine, Keith, I've been removed from that culture so many years. And you know, I didn't see many Cudas growing up.
So from the time you're a young teenager to 30 years old, muscle cars just weren't a thing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Well, by the time because I got that car when I was about 45, so, or this car. But that many years being removed from it, not only the techniques of getting the work done, I learned that later, but just, for instance, I asked the guy that I was buying, I had pictures and had the hinges on the roof, and I said, what are those hinges for? He said, well, it's a rear window louver car. And I'm thinking, what, J.C. Whitney or what?
Right, some add-on,
yeah,
something. Yeah,
I didn't know, you know. And he said, no, that's original on the car. And I said, really? And he sent me a copy of the build sheet. I didn't know anything about build sheets.
Right, fender tags and
Fender
numbers
tag,
matching
right,
stuff.
I didn't know nothing about that stuff. And I started going online and said, wow, color bumpers, that's pretty rare. Rear window louvers, that's pretty rare. AM 8-track, that's pretty rare. And by the time I'd already made the deal, because I didn't know any better, so I knew that it was at a level that it's something I could do because I couldn't afford to pay anyone.
Right, and
So
it wasn't a rot box or anything. Yeah,
exactly.
It was a somewhat solid car.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't spend like 30 grand on metalwork. You were ready to dive into this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. The first trip up there was, I'd found a guy online. He said, listen, I didn't even know this guy. He said, look, you need to look for this, this, and this. I remember, I'll never forget, torque boxes. And I'm thinking, what is a torque? You know, 45 years away from all of this, what is a torque box, you know? And so, torque box, make sure the numbers should be on the cowl, you know, and blah, blah, blah. So I flew up there and verified all that, paid a down payment, we made a deal, and I come up a month later and got it.
Right.
And
So you probably just took like an open trailer down there
Yeah.
and a pickup truck and
Yeah.
gathered all the parts and
Yep,
the game was on then.
game was on.
So you brought it back to the house, to the two-door garage or
Yeah.
two-car garage.
Yeah.
And you just started tearing it apart. And
Well, I pulled it in there and it sat in there a month. I bought an air compressor, bought me another toolbox, and started gathering up stuff, paint guns, you know, I was.
so your dad was still running his auto
Yeah,
shop
but he was
then,
in
or?
Arkansas, so
Right,
I'm in Tennessee, yeah.
Right, but
Yeah, I
since
could
he
talk,
was,
yeah.
you're like, Dad, what do I need to get?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. And he was like, you know, he said, we all use epoxy primer now. And I said,
Yeah.
so here I am buying epoxy primer with a cheap gun, you know,
Yeah.
and so once I got, you know, pretty well situated, you know, a sand block and some sandpaper, and
Right.
you know, I started taking it apart.
Right. And then did you have to collect a lot of parts? Was it mostly there, or?
Most of the, you know, the intake was there. You know, idle solenoid, stuff like that was missing. It didn't have the carburetors.
The rubber bumpers were there, the
Rubber
louvers.
bumpers were there, the
Yeah.
louvers were there.
All the seats
all the
and-
seats and all the inside stuff.
That super expensive radio, was that?
That was there.
That was there,
Yeah.
yeah. Try to buy one of those now. Good luck.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it was in there. And the speakers, it's a rear speaker car.
Mm-hmm.
So the original speakers are in the dash and the little tweeters on the side.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that's what they are. And then the speakers in the back, they were all in there, you
Yeah.
know. But a lot of the parts were there. It's just a few parts, you know, I had to
Right.
buy. And I tried my best to buy NOS when I could afford it, you know. And
Sure. So by then you had a family coming on? You had kids?
oh, yeah, by then, yeah, they were grown.
Yeah.
They were grown. Both the girls were out of college. So
Okay.
I had a little computer business that I had my self-employed. You
Okay.
know, so, and I was working every night and on the weekends for about 5 years.
Right.
Yeah, and learning along the way, you know, if it wasn't for the internet and just the people that are willing to give their advice and
Right.
just all the reference material out there, you know. And
I remember having to look in the old the Bible, the Hemmings Motor News.
yeah,
It was like the Motor Bible.
Yeah.
It was just this thick book that come out every few months, and that's how you contacted people. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden the internet just changed everything.
Yes, it did.
Yep.
It did. I spent hours and hours on Mopars, you know, just
Sure.
just learning how to do this and meeting a lot of great people. I mean,
Yep.
it's all about the people in this world.
Yep. So you had your dad for some advice,
Yeah.
and you had you. Did you have your kids helping you, or your friends and neighbors, or solely you? Or
Yeah, every once in a while, if I needed some help, my niece, I had to do some patchwork in the trunk gutters, and I was too big to crawl in there, and she was about 12 years old, and I said, "Hey, Kara, come help me out." And so,
crawl. I mean, a Cuda trunk is
Yeah.
completely small.
exactly.
So yeah, most men cannot get in the trunk
Yeah,
of a
so
Cuda.
you know, had a mirror, and I had my angle grinder up in there, and I said, I got to figure something out. So she come
Right.
over and helped me out, and my neighbors, you know, I think 3 of my neighbors come over to help me hang the door one day, you know.
Yeah, and an e-body door, out of all the Mopar doors, the e-body door is like the heaviest
It
door
is.
out of all of them.
It
And there's no
is.
way to hang it yourself, so
That
you
is
got to
right.
have help. You just
That's
have
right.
to.
On the driver's side, I actually had anchors in the ceiling with pulleys, and I was itching it in place and moving the car on dollies over, and I
Oh,
said,
man,
I'm not going to
that's-
do that on this.
Yeah, especially
So-
after it's painted.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a lot of hands on that.
Yeah,
And setting the hood and the trunk, you need help. You
Yeah.
just-
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, they were always there, you know, and I'd always lean on somebody that was more talented than me, like at building the engine. I couldn't do that. Chuck
Sure.
Vaughn, he's a friend of mine in where I live, and he took care of the building the engine and the
Okay.
transmission. And anytime I could lean on somebody, I did quite
Right.
often, really.
and you needed to get the thing done. I mean, you couldn't just be like a lifelong project.
Right.
So,
Right.
so get the engine transmission on a jig. You got
Yeah.
it all built up on the K-frame jig.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I had a friend that had one of those dollies for engine and transmission.
Sure.
And he sent me all the measurements, so I went and bought the tube in and
Just
welded
built
it all
it.
together and built it. And
And you built the dollies for the whole body shell also.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly. And funny story, you know, I put that thing on that rotisserie by myself, and you know, in Dad's shop, he never had a rotisserie.
No, that's kind of a new restoration technique.
It is.
Kind of.
It
yeah.
is. So, you know, when I had to I borrowed that one from somebody,
Right.
and the day I put that on there, I was a nervous wreck because it just, you know, I had jacks. 'Cause
Right.
It was on the rear dollies, and I had a hydraulic jack up there, jacketed it up to long enough to get the floor jacks on the bottom of the dolly to hoist it up to get it higher. And the first time I flipped that thing, I thought, this thing's gonna turn over. There's
And-
no way this thing can stay up.
And it's crazy. It still amazes me
It is.
the amount of stuff that falls out of the car when you turn a car upside down.
Exactly.
It just is sand and rocks and car parts and bolts and
Yeah.
and yeah, you're looking at the car like, how is this car on a rotisserie? But
Right.
but you got up on the rotisserie and you sandblasted the car or power washed it or
Anything I could take off, I sandblasted it. The
Okay.
fenders, the quarters were just DA'd, just
Mm-hmm.
to get down to the bare metal, the doors. You know, I got a little sandblaster and carried them behind the garage and sandblasted those and got all the paint off of them and then
Yeah.
started on the.
So-
I could do filler work, mud
Right.
work, and primer.
So this car sounds amazingly solid compared to some of the stuff that we restore.
I got
where you're,
lucky, Keith.
Where
There's
you're
no
doing
doubt.
frame rails and everything. You didn't have to do any of that. You got
Yeah.
you got a good car to start with.
And fortunate, the car was undercoated from factory.
Okay,
So
so that helped.
yeah, and I'd tried scraping it off, you know, with a little heat gun. And,
Right.
And I thought, this is going to take forever. So I got a hot steam cleaner.
Okay.
High pressure steam cleaner, and got it on that rotisserie, and that's how I got all the undercoating off. And man, it was untouched metal. It was so beautiful underneath
Nice.
that car.
So
yeah.
where did the car like grow
Florida.
up?
Florida.
Florida car.
Miami, around Miami.
And it didn't rust the roof and didn't rust from
Nope.
the top down.
No.
That's how that black one ended up. Is it spent a lot of
Well-
time in Florida and it got.
Yeah.
It must have been left outside all the time.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
one was. I still have the '78 inspection sticker.
Okay.
And in '78 it was pulled in the owner's warehouse, I'm actually the third owner of the car. The brother bought it from the original owner, and it had just been in that warehouse all those years.
That pretty much saved it from the salt
Yeah.
air. Yeah.
And he would go out and work on it little at a time, little at a time. And when I got it, a lot of the original paint was on there, but he had started working on little dents and dings, and it's got old red oxide primer on there, you know.
Okay.
It had been on there for years, and
Yeah.
of course I took all that off to start over.
So you worked on it, what, 5-10 years, or how?
5 years.
About 5 years is what
Yeah.
it took you in your garage.
And yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty good feat. There's some people that can't do it in a lifetime hardly.
Yeah.
So even when we restore cars for customers, it could take 2-3 years on some of them.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good. You were really getting after it.
I was. I mean, when I say every weekend, buddy, it was every weekend.
Right. So
I fell in love with it. I mean, I really did. I mean,
Yep.
I was so passionate about it, and it didn't. Sometimes I look back and I'm thinking, when I was undercoating that thing, and I was in my white suit, and I had these goggles on, and I don't know if you've ever really dug into what that undercoat's made of, but it's got a lot of sand in it.
right.
And
It's like
buddy,
asphalt.
It was.
Yeah.
I mean, I couldn't have goggles on because they just fogged up from all the steam. And man, I had to take them goggles off just so I could see and just barely keep my eyes open. And I dug sand out
They
of
call it safety squints. Yeah.
it was. And I'm thinking, how in the world did you do that? But you know, it was just a love for that car. I guarantee you, man.
Would you do another one?
Yeah, I'm getting ready to do another one. So
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. All right. And you're helping some friends on another car too, aren't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, restoring
Yeah.
about to wrap it up. It's a 70 Duster,
Okay.
340 car.
All right. So it took you 5 years to restore this AAR, and you debuted it here at the Music City show, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So first time anyone really saw it done,
Yeah.
it was here.
Yeah. 2017. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, that was a open trailer haul too. Didn't
Yeah.
have an enclosed trailer. Yeah, it was a nervous
Right.
wreck.
Sure.
Yeah, I
Sure.
sure was.
Coming through Nashville traffic,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. My son-in-law came with me. He was pretty excited about it. So he come, and yeah, it was good, you know. And my dad
Yeah.
got to come up for that one. My dad actually, I borrowed a paint booth to spray it in. So
Okay.
he came up and helped me shoot it. We tag teamed it, you know. And
Nice.
yeah, it was really
Nice.
really cool.
So single stage urethane.
no,
or-
it's
or-
base clear.
It's okay. It's
Yeah.
base clear. Got
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
You know. Then
Yeah.
you wet sand and buff it, put the stripes on. Did you pull your own seat covers and all that?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did all that, and
So the car really looks great. So
Well,
then
thanks,
then
Keith.
the next big show you took it to was the Muscle Car Nationals in Chicago.
yes.
Right, okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
And first time out there, and you had it judged.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
tell us how that went.
It went. I mean, I was tickled to death. My dad and my oldest grandson were with me, so it was.
Okay.
It was.
All right.
It was really cool, and just knowing that, just seeing how proud my dad was, you know, that.
To see you bring a car to that level.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He said, you know, I'm proud. I'm glad that whatever you got from me, I'm glad I was able to help you get to this level. You know.
Right.
I don't know how you did it, but you know, it's love for the car.
Right. And yeah, you got to thank your dad for teaching all the
That's
skills
exactly right.
and advice and helping you along with it.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I first time I'd ever been to that show, and I did. Bob was just, man, you know, I got to have your car, and it had won Muscle Car of the Year finalist the same year at Goodguys.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if you know how they work, but they pick 12 cars throughout the year, and then in October they pick the winner. So it was Muscle Car of the Year finalist, and they picked the Muscle Car of the Year. So Bob's, you know, we're talking, he wants the car there, but it happens to be on the same weekend. It's a pretty cool story. So I called Bob one day after the car was picked, and I found out it was the same day, and Bob had already told me that he wanted it there. And I said, well, Bob, I got a little problem here. And he said, what? I said, the Muscle Car of the Year show is at the same time your show is.
Right. It's always the weekend before
yeah.
Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I said, it's at the same time.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm not. He said, Chet, I understand. That's a big award.
Because that's just one time.
Right.
That's your window.
Right.
And Muscle Car Nationals in Chicago is every year.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got to take it when you get it.
And buddy, I tell you, he said that's fine. I do understand. So I canceled that, and then next thing you know, October comes, and I'm looking. Watch the day it's supposed to. They're supposed to announce it. I'm on the web page, refreshing the web page, waiting for it, and hoping it calls my name, because if it don't, I'm staying home that weekend.
Sure.
I'm not going anywhere. So it didn't win. And I was talking to a friend about it, and I was just tore up all day at work about that. Man, I was.
So top 12?
Yeah, it was top 12.
You were top 12, so 1 out of 12 cars. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it was really good, but you want that big one.
Right.
And so my friend said, well, just call Bob and ask him what he says. And I called Bob, and he said, you're in. I saved that spot. So,
he's a Mopar. He loves all muscle cars, of course,
yeah.
but he's a Mopar guy.
Yes, he is.
Like down to the core.
Yes, he is.
And he's been known to part the seas to get a Mopar into the show.
Yeah, and he did that, buddy. And I called my dad, and he said, I'm going. So we went, and it was a memorable moment.
No doubt. Yep.
Yeah.
So pretty overwhelming if it's been the first time you've ever been there.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. I didn't know what to think, didn't know a soul.
Yeah, 500 of the top shelf cars, and you're right there with them all.
Yeah.
And so you had it judged. Now, how'd you do on the judging?
It was like 960, something like that.
It's enough to get the gold.
Yeah,
so
got
I
the
think
gold.
it was like 950 or 960 was kind of the cutoff for a gold, and you were right there though.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's a good feeling.
Yeah,
first time out.
It was.
Yep.
I was totally surprised. I wasn't expecting it at all.
Yep.
I just. But it all goes down to love that car, because I absolutely love it, man.
Sweet. All right. I can't think of nothing else. We're definitely showing some pictures and some video of the car.
Good.
And what are the next plans for the car? I mean, we were at MoParty 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
2025 MoParty, and you got like a top 25 pick or something there also. Top 20 pick at MoParty.
Yeah.
And they got you to do like a little special parade thing. They give you a trophy and stuff up there.
Yeah, and, that was totally unexpected, for sure.
Yeah. So there was that. What's the plans? Any other big shows? Or
I don't have any slated.
So
till the end of this year, don't have anything on the books.
Just enjoy the car.
Yeah.
Try to drive it a little bit.
Yeah.
Obviously not in Nashville traffic.
Oh,
but,
no.
No. But around your hometown, you can get it on the roads a little bit.
Yeah.
And just keep driving a little bit. And,
we'll get it out every once in a while.
Like
Christmas Day or something. And
sure.
I bought the Elvis Blue Christmas 8-track. And
you have the 8-track. Yeah.
We'll drive around playing that.
Yep. Well, good deal.
We enjoy it, but I appreciate you and Mike coming to our show this year. And
I'm really glad we made the trip. From Iowa, it's a long ways, but we've driven to Carlisle, which is further, and so we're happy to make the trip. So
I'm so glad y'all made it.
I appreciate the hospitality of everybody is so nice down here.
Yeah.
It's just been a great experience.
Well, I told them, I said, make sure you take care of the guy in the black shirt and the guy in the orange shirt, so they'll come back. So evidently everybody's doing their job.
Yep. So the guys from Iowa,
Yeah.
So what's the furthest away anyone's come to this show? I mean, it's certainly further away than Iowa. So it's like 10 hours for us.
I mean, we've had people as far as Canada come down.
Okay.
And some years. the groups really, New Orleans group, they're 9 hours
Okay.
or so. They come up every year. And,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
But we're, you know, I just heard we have 208 cars this year, so that's pretty close to a record.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Great. I mean, the weather, I mean,
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can't have that as an excuse like last year with the hurricanes and rains.
Exactly.
And so the weather can't be beat this year.
That's
so
right.
It was a great turnout.
That's right. It's been great.
All right. Well, I appreciate you sitting down with me and just talking about your Cuda.
Oh, well, thank you
And,
for asking, buddy.
Yeah. So, all right. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Keith.
All right. We'll talk some more.
All right.
All right.